Hi, I'm Senate President Pro Tem Don Perata.
And I'm Assembly Speaker Fabian Núñez. The governor has declared a fiscal emergency. This will begin a long overdue conversation about the state's budget and the state's values. You know, for too long, the discussion has been dominated by those who only want to cut services Californians depend upon. As a result, we've been forced to cut and borrow our way out of deficit after deficit. And as the governor just noted, we're facing even more cuts to our schools, to law enforcement, and to our most vulnerable citizens. That is not what the people of California want. We call on Governor Schwarzenegger and our Republican colleagues to join us in reshaping the conversation. It's time for all of us in Sacramento to show the courage to look at what really needs to be done to keep our fiscal house in order, not simply to continue to dismantle vital services. For our part, in the Assembly, I am taking action today to reduce our expenditures by 10%. But clearly, cuts alone won't fix things. If there's a $14 billion deficit, you could close every one of the state's public universities and still be nowhere close. You could kick every Medi-Cal patient out of their nursing home and still be nowhere close. You could shutter nutrition programs for every child that needs them and still be nowhere close. In fact, you could take all of these steps together and still face a serious budget gap. The conversation can't just be about price. It has to be about priorities as well. We can get good value for our dollar, and we can make sure our values are reflected in good budgets. As Democrats, we will fight tirelessly for the principles we share with the vast majority of Californians. Californians believe that smaller classes for kids are more important than big breaks for yacht owners. Californians understand that fixing the foreclosure mess is much more important than subsidizing vacation homes. Californians want a decent quality of life for the elderly, the blind, and the disabled, who need not only small assistance from their neighbors to maintain their independence and the dignity that they deserve. Those are the values that must shape the debate around our direction, and no conversation where the state should be headed can be complete without acknowledging the overwhelming need to fix California's broken healthcare system. California families face a fiscal emergency every time they struggle to pay for healthcare. And our overburdened emergency rooms face a fiscal crisis every day. The healthcare reform we negotiated with the governor takes a giant step forward towards universal coverage that California wants. And we wrote the plan specifically so it wouldn't impact the state budget or add to the state deficit. You know, seizing this historic opportunity can provide one of the bright spots on a tough road ahead. And as we move down that road, as we lead a real conversation about our challenges and our choices, I take heart from the knowledge that courage when it counts and values that endure have seen California through time and time again. Senator?
Thanks, Fabian. Good afternoon. Without question, California faces another tough year. But it's no time to quit on the California dream. We as Democrats won't. When first elected 4 years ago, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger called California the golden dream by the sea, a shining example admired the world over. California is a brand name, just like our governor. He's Arnold, we're California. Everyone has an image of California. For generations, California has represented hope, opportunity, and prosperity. A tomorrow better than yesterday. That's why we are America's largest and most dynamic state in the nation, the window on all the promise and potential of the future. Unfortunately, today the governor's new vision is to make yesterday our tomorrow. To take California's brand name and to make it generic, like detergent or trash bags. The governor now proposes permanent, ongoing cuts to the state budget. In the governor's plan for California, we will always be 43rd in the nation in education. In the governor's plan for California, the disabled and senior citizens will have less and less opportunity to have help in their homes. In the governor's plan, fewer kids, regardless of how they work, how hard they work, will be able to find a seat in our college classrooms. The governor is willing to sell us short. He is selling us on the excellence of mediocrity, advocating automatic cuts, but failing to establish the priorities and how to fund them is political expediency at its best and political leadership at its worst. As Californians, we owe it to ourselves and to our children to do better. That's why our state is so great, because everyone here and everyone who comes here strives to be the best, to have the best. California is the envy of the world. Let's keep it that way. We are up to this challenge. Thank you. And I'm Don Perata, President of the State Senate.
And I'm Assembly Speaker Fabian Núñez. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to this conversation with you, Californians.